Welcome back everyone. So today we are going to building this really nice block with Next.js, DaisyUI for styling, and Prisma to connect with database, and also React hook form to create nice form. So as you can see, this is the final project. Really simple, look really clean. And as you can see in the home here, we just have the header and some card in here. So when I click this create post, it should be redirect me to the form. If we not put any value here, when I click create, it should be, as you can see, autofocus in this input here. And anyway, I'm not add any validation in this form because I'm not focused on that. I just focus on how to create CRUD operation in Next.js and Prisma. So you will learn how to do that in this video. So let's try to say post 1. When I click create, as you can see, now it's focused on the post content because we not put any value in here. So let's just copy the lorem ipsum. I'm gonna copy that and put that in here. When I click create, as you can see, the select tag now is required. So let's select that. I'm gonna say JavaScript. Let's click create. As you can see, now we have post 1. The name is same. So let's change that. I'm going to click edit and let's say post 3 like so. If I click update, now let's go back here, and as you can see, this is post 3. Really cool. And also we can delete that. It's gone really fast. And yep, that's what we are going to be building. And hopefully you learn a lot from this video, and let's get started. So let's first generate Next application. Let's go to next.js.org, click get started, and let's click installation. And I'm going to copy this command, npx create next app at lattice, and I'm going to give a name next, let's say Next.js blocks, just like that, and hit enter. And now we should have some question in here. Would you like to use TypeScript? Of course, I'm going to say yes. ESLint, yes. Tailwind, we are going to say yes because we are going to use DaisyUI. DaisyUI is component by library for Tailwind CSS. Okay, so let's go back here. Click yes. Source directory, I'm going to say yes. App router, yes. Import alias, let's say no. Okay, let's just wait for that. All right, it's done. So now let's cd into Next.js blocks folder. And inside in here, I'm going to open Visual Studio Code. Let's open the terminal. Let's say npm run dev. It should be open localhost 3000. Let's open that in the browser. All right, it's great. So let's go back to source and then page here. I'm going to remove all the content, make it simple. Remove all of that. And here, I just want to say heading 1 and let's say home. And also let's remove all this class name like so. Now we just have home right here. As you can see, we get weird background color here. So let's go to global CSS, and I'm going to remove all this root and body class styling here. Let's remove that, and we have clean here. Nice. So the next thing what I'm going to do is let's go to DaisyUI and let's just install the DaisyUI first. And we can use this command here. So let's just copy that. npm install as a dev dependency DaisyUI. So let's paste that in here and hit enter. All right, it's done. So let's say npm run dev again. Let's go back to DaisyUI documentation, and inside the Tailwind config, we need to put this plugin. So let's go back to Tailwind config, and inside this plugin, let's put this require DaisyUI, just like that. Nice. So now let's try to go to the navbar because the first component that we are going to create is navbar. So let's see where is the navbar. This one. So let's click on that, and I'm gonna use really simple navbar. So I'm gonna use this one. I think this one. So let's click the JSX, and I'm gonna copy that. Go to source. Let's create another component called create folder called components, and then inside the folder I'm going to say navbar.tsx like so. And I can say rfce and put the content in here just like that. And now we can use this navbar into the layout. Let's go to layout, and in here I can put the navbar like so. Save, and let's see what we have. We not see anything. Let's refresh to make sure. We get this error, so let's click on that and see what we have. Iteration failed because the internal UI does not match what was rendered on the server. Okay, so let's go back into layout, and I think this div, you know, the navbar is div, right? We need to put the navbar inside the body tag. We cannot put that inside in here. So let's go to body and put that like so, and it should be work just fine right now. Great. So I like to wrap all this navbar and main tag inside the container. So let's go to tailwind.config, and I like to create one container object inside this theme here. So let's add, it's called container, and inside this container I'm gonna say center is true, and padding I'm gonna add one rem, and also for the screen let's do 2XL, and the value is 1000 pixel like so. And let's go back to the navbar, and now we can use that. So let's wrap everything here with div with the class name container, and let's put, I'm going to make it small, I'm going to put this div here inside the container just like so. And as you can see, now it starts from here and then here. If you want to see, I can say background red 400, and this is the container look like. Nice. So let's remove the background. So now let's styling the navbar. Let's go back to component, and in here I'm going to remove the background. Let's change that into, I'm gonna say background to neutral 100. Here we go. And also I'm going to change this anchor tag into link. Let's use link come from next link, and it's gonna be icon. And in here I'm gonna put href and let's say / because when I click this icon it should be redirect me to the home page. And for this icon here I'm going to remove the svg. Let's remove that, and in here I'm gonna say create pose just like that. And let's change the btn square. I'm gonna remove that. So anyway, we're not gonna use button because when I click the button it should be redirect me to the create page. So in here we can say link, and this link should be have create post like so, and have href. When I click the create post it should be redirect me to the create page. And then in here I'm going to add class name called btn, and btn goes like so. Let's remove this button, and here we go. All right, we're done with the navbar. So now let's wrap the children into the layout here. These children here with some container, because I need to wrap all the body here, all the main inside the container. So let's cut that out. And here I'm going to put div and put the children inside a div. And in this div, I'm going to add container. So let's say container, and the height I'm going to say full, and also the padding top I'm going to say 12, because in here we have navbar, right? So let's save, and here we go. We have home. Look clean, nice. Let's go to the page here. So what we are going to do in here is, when we have some, this is basically will be card, and as you can see it will be like so, column. I'm going to styling that so we can see something like card in here. So let's say class name called grid, and item, it should be center, and justify, it should be center. And also for the medium, I'm gonna say grid template, not template, I think grid columns into, for the medium I'm gonna say 2, and for the large and more I'm gonna say grid columns, I'm gonna say 3, and the gap between the card, it should be 4. And also I'm gonna add margin top to, let's just say 10, like so. And as you can see, now we have 3 columns in here. When I do the mobile, it should be responsive as well. As you can see, this is in the small, medium, and large. Nice, great. And now let's create a card. So let's go to component, and in here I'm going to create a component called, let's call that postcard.tsx. Let's do rifce. Let's go back to the Tailwind, not Tailwind, DaisyUI, and I'm going to looking for card. So the card here, I'm gonna use this one. So let's just go to JSX, copy the content, go back and paste that in here. Just simple as that. And now we need to put the postcard into the page here. So let's remove all of this and put the postcard like so, and copy and paste that couple times. So let's see what we have. Nice, at least. So let's go back to the postcard, and in here for the width, I'm gonna say full, which is 100%. Look nice. And also I'm going to add the border here. So we have some border around the card. Okay, nice. And also for the button here, it should be, I'm not gonna use this button. I'm gonna use link, because when we click that, it should be redirect me to the detail, to the detail page. So here I'm gonna say href. Wait, what happened? href, and here I'm gonna say /blog/ whatever the ID. So in this case, I'm gonna say wine, for example. And in here, I'm gonna say, let's say read more, just like that. And let's add some class name in this link. Class name, this should be, let's say when I hover that, it should be have underline. Let's see, when I hover, we have underline. So now let's create the form. If I click this create post, it should be redirect me to the /create, and as you can see, there's no page in here. To create page in Next.js, it's really simple. In app here, we can say just whatever the page we want. In this case, we can say create, like so. Inside the create, we should create the file called page.tsx. The name, it should be page to make it work. And we can say rifce. And here I can just say like create page, like so. Now when I refresh, as you can see, we have create page. So basically, I'm not going to create the form in this page because we are going to create a reusable component called, I'm going to say form post. So we can use that into the create and then into the edit. So inside the components folder, let's create another file called form post.tsx, like so. Let's do rifce. And we can just import the form post in here. So we can say form post, like so. So now we have form post. Great. And in here, I'm going to put heading 1, and let's say add new post. And let's styling this a little bit. I'm going to say class name to the text to XL to make it a little bit bigger. The margin vertically, I'm going to say 4. The font, I'm going to do bold. And also the text, let's do into center. As you can see, we have add new post. Great. So now let's go to form post, and in here we are going to create the form. So I'm going to close the others and we just have the form post, and I'm going to make it bigger. Let's close this terminal. Great. So now let's install the React hook form. So let's go to get started, and this is installation. So let's do npm install React hook form. I want to copy that. Let's go back, open the terminal again. Let's say Control C, and I'm going to paste that right here. npm install React hook form. It's done really fast. My internet's so really fast anyway. So in here, what we need to do, let's go back to the React hook form. And what we need to do is, let's see. I'm going to first, let's just remove this return. And I'm going to say form. So this form don't have any action. And inside this form, we are going to put some input. So basically we have three, right? Input field, text area, and I call that, let's see, what select. All right. So let's see to the input field first, text input. And we are going to use this one here with this border. So I'm going to copy that and go back here, paste that in here, like so. Now we have this beautiful input here. Nice. And also let's go back to DaisyUI, and I'm going to looking for text area, this one. And I'm going to use this one. So let's copy that, paste that here. Nice. And for the select, I'm going to use this one. Click JSX, copy that, paste. So really simple. Let's take a look what we have. It should be look like this. So let's styling that a little bit in this form. I'm going to do class name. This is going to be flex. The flex, it should be flex column. And then the item, I'm going to say center, the justify, center, and also the gap between the input field, I'm going to say 5. And also the margin top, I'm going to say 10. Great. It's going to be look like this. Nice. And as you can see here, we have the maximal width. So I'm going to change this to maximal width into, I'm going to say large, like so. And for the text area, I'm going to say the width, let's say full, and the maximal width into large as well. Here we go. Nice. We have this input field. Great job. And now let's go to the placeholder. We need to change this to something like post title, and this is gonna be post content. And what else? This one, it should be select tag. So let's go to option here, and I'm gonna say select text. Here we go. Nice. So now let's create the button. So let's go back and let's create button. This button have a text called create. And in here, I'm going to add class name called, let's do btn primary, and also the width, I'm going to say full, and also the maximal width, let's say large. Really nice. So now let's use React hook form to get the value. It's really simple to use that, by the way. So in here, we need to use form, come from React hook form. So let's do that in here. I'm gonna do here, let's say cons set, let's say cons set equals to use form. It's come from React hook form, like so. And inside this use form, we can get this, I'm going to make it bigger. We can get the register and handle submit. So let's grab the register and handle submit, like so. And to register, we can just simply say register and then the name of the field. Really simple. So let's go to input here, and I'm going to register this. So we can say register title for this, and we can do in here as well. register, I'm gonna say content. And for this one, I'm gonna say register, and then it's going to be tag. Just simple as that. So now let's go back here, and as you can see, we get some warning. That is because when we use this register here and we use form, come from React Hook form, we need to change this component as a client component. So let's put the use client in the top here. So we can say use client. Simple as that, and it working. So now inside this form, we can say on submit set equals to handle submit and put the function in here. So for now, I'm going to say submit. Let's create the function. I want to say cons submit set equals to arrow function. And for now, I just want to console log is like a data in here in the submit function, and we can console log the data like so. Let's try. I'm going to open my terminal and let's see, not terminal, but console. So let's see in the console here. Let's refresh. And yeah, we have the warning here. We are going to fix letter. And now I'm going to put value and let's hit create. As you can see, we have the title, the content, and the tag here. Because we are going to use this form post into the create page and edit page, there's no reason we need to add this on submit in here. So the better way is the submit, it should become from the props. So if we need to get something from the props, we need to create the interface first because we working with the TypeScript, right? So we can say form post props, and then here I can grab, we need to grab the submit. And the submit here, it should be, let's go back to the browser. It should be have type submit handler, come from the React Hook form. So let's say submit handler, come from React Hook form, and we need to put the e-form input. So first, we are going to create that. So in here, I'm going to create inside of source. I'm going to do folder call, let's say folder call types, and inside these types, I'm going to create file call, let's say index.d.ts. And in here, I'm going to export type call form input post like so. And it should be have equal object. And here we have title. In the form, we have title. It should be string. We have content. The content, it should be string as well. And also we have tag. And the tag, it should be string as well. So now we can use this form input post into this submit handler. So we can say form, let's say form input post. Just like that. So now we need to remove this. And now we can say this component should be functional component that have the form post props like so. And now we can grab the submit, as you can see, and it should be, we get this warning here because the use form, it should be have the form input post as well. So in here I can say form input post like so, and as you can see, the error is gone. Great. Let's close this type here. So now let's go back to create page. Let's go to app and then create and then page here. And in here, as you can see, we get the warning because we don't put the submit function. So this submit should be handle, let's say handle create post. So we need to create the function. Let's say cons handle create post set equals to arrow function, and it should be get the data. And this handle create post, it should be have a type submit handler like so. And this submit handler have form input props, form input pose, like so. And now we can just console log the data so we can see the value. Let's say console log data, like so. And let's go to the browser. And here, what we have wrong here. Oh yeah, we need to change the component here into client component as well. So let's do use client, like so. Let's save, and here we go. Nice. So let's try to say pose 1. This is pose 1. And the text, I'm gonna say create, and here we go. We have the content here. Nice. To add validation in React Hook form, it's really easy. So let's go back to React Hook form, and let's see. This is apply validation. Let's see down here. As you can see, we can say require true and the maximal length, any value here, minimal value, maximal value, the pattern, you can do that. So for this video, we are going to just use the require validation. So I'm gonna say comma here. Let's do comma, and then here I'm gonna say require to true, just like that. So I think we need to just copy this because all field will be require, just like so. So now we need to change this button into type submit, like so. Let's go back and see. When I click create, we can see the value, because as you can see here we have value. When I remove that, as you can see, you cannot see the value because the post title is require. Nice. The one thing I'm going to change here is the post. It should be uppercase. Nice. And this should be have, let's say, JavaScript, and we have PHP, and also we have maybe Python here, just like so. And I think we should get this error here. We are going to fix this because use the default value or value props on select instead of selected. We cannot use selected in here. We can just say value into empty string, like so. Let's refresh, and the error should be gone. And the default value, so let's go to select, and in here I'm gonna put the default, not default check, but default values. It should be, I'm gonna say empty string for now. Let's refresh. By default it should be select this option here, which is disable. So now we are going to create the detail. So let's go back to home, and then when I click this detail, it should be crash, as you can see. So now let's close everything here, and we are going to create the detail. So let's go to app, and in here I'm going to create folder called, let's say, block. And inside the block we have the folder called, let's do ID inside the array, because the ID will be dynamic. And inside the ID we should create page.tsx, like so. And we can say RIFCE, and we can say I don't know, let's say block detail page maybe. And when I save that and let's take a look, we have block detail page. Nice. So in here I'm going to add heading 2, and this is going to be the title. I'm gonna say post 1 maybe. Let's add class name here. The class name should be have margin bottom to 8, and this title here I'm going to make it bigger. Let's say text to XL, and also the font should be bold. Also the margin vertically I'm gonna say 4, just like that. As you can see, we have post 1, and down here we have the p tag, which is the content. So I'm gonna say content, let's say post 1 content. We get warning here because we need to return just single tag HTML here, not HTML but JSX. So I'm gonna put div, and let's wrap all this inside this parent div. Nice. So here I'm going to styling this a little bit. The text, it should be, let's say, slate, let's say 700, like so. Great. And into the final project, as you can see, we cannot see that. So anyway, we have the button edit and button delete in here. So I'm going to put that button into the components here, and the component name is should be button action. So let's do button action.tsx. Let's do rifce, and I'm going to put the button action down here. Let's do button action, just like that. And inside this button action, what I'm gonna do is let's remove the text here, and I'm going to render link. Link, it should be come from the next link, like so. And this have kind of like edit text, and let's say href into /edit/id, just like so. And down here we have button. This button here have a text called delete, and this button, let's styling that a little bit, have btn and also btn-error to see red color. Here we go. Nice. And for the link, we need to add class name into btn, and also the margin right, I'm gonna say 2. Nice. We have edit and delete. Great. So now we are going to install Lucid React to get nice icon. So let's say Lucid React, lucid.dev, and here you can find the package inside the React Native, Vue, etc. But using React, so we need to just use this command here. Let's copy that, go to the terminal, and I'm going to paste that right here. And let's go to icons, and in here there's a lot of icon. So I can say edit, for example, and or maybe pencil. Yeah, we are gonna use this pencil icon. So let's click on that. As you can see, we can just copy the JSX, copy that, and we can use it in here, like so. And we need to import the pencil from Lucid React. Let's restore the server, npm run dev, and now we should be able to see the icon. Let's refresh, and here we go. As you can see, really nice. And now I'm going to looking for trash, and I'm going to use this simple trash here. I'm going to copy that and copy JSX, go to delete here and paste that right here. And of course we need to import the rest, and let's take a look. This is what we have. Nice. And also for the icon here, for the logo icon, let's go back to Navbar, and here we are going to use icon call, let's search that. I'm going to use icon call book open check, this one. Let's click that, copy JSX, go back here and paste that right here and import that. Just easy as that. And as you can see, now we have this beautiful logo, and we can also change the color to, for example, blue. And here we go, the color is changed. Really nice. So now let's create the edit page. When I click on that, as you can see, we have 404 because we don't yet create the edit page. But as you can see, we go to edit/id, and there's something wrong with the button action here. This should be any ID, for example 1. When I click that, it should be go to edit/1. So let's go to app here, app folder, and I'm going to create folder called edit, and inside the edit I'm going to create folder called array ID, and inside the ID we are going to create file called page.tsx, and in here we can say rifce, and I'm going to change that to edit edit pose page like so. Let's remove the React and let's refresh. As you can see, we have edit pose page. Nice. So the edit post page is really similar like the create. So I think we need to just copy all this content here and paste that to the page, and we need to paste that right here like so. Of course, we need to import form pose, we need to import submit handler and form input props, and again we need to change this to client. You can say use client, and as you can see we have this form, and of course we need to change this to edit pose. I want to change this to uppercase E, edit pose. And what else? I want to change the function name. I'm going to change this handle edit pose. Handle edit pose. Just like that. Nice. And the text here, it should be edit or update. So I'm going to add some props called is editing. And of course, we need to grab this from the form pose. Let's open that form pose. And in this interface, we need to add is editing like so. And this should be a Boolean value. Let's grab that here. I'm going to do is editing. And we need to add the condition in this button here. So in here, I'm going to add condition. If the is editing is true, I'm going to render text call update, but else let's put create. So now it should be update. Nice. But as you can see in the create, we have warning here because we don't send the is editing to false like so. And yep, everything look working. If I go back, detail, edit, go back. And the next thing is I'm going to create button back here. So let's create another component called back button. Let's close everything to make it look simple. And inside the source component, I'm going to create folder called, not folder, but file called back button.tsx. And yeah, this is, should be uppercase B like so. And let's say RIFCE, and it's gonna be back button like so. And let's remove this div. I'm gonna use button like so. And this button have a text back. And also I'm gonna looking for icon. Let's say saffron back, saffron left. This one. Click on that, copy JSX, and put that in the front of back text like so. And also in this button, I'm going to add class name called btn. And when I click that on click event, it should be running the router. Of course, we need to say cons and then router set equals to use router. It should become from next/navigation, not from router. It should become from navigation like so. And we can say router dot back, just like that. It's error because we don't invoke the use router. And now we need to use the back button into the detail. So let's go back to app block page. In here, we need to put the back button, I think in the top here. Let's put back button like so. Let's save and let's take a look. It's only work in client. Yep. So here we need to change that to client component because we're using use router. So let's say use client. As you can see, we have this back button and it working. Nice. And also I'm going to put the back button into this create page. Let's go to create and then page. I'm going to put that in here. Let's do back button just like so. And we have some warning here because the back button should be uppercase. Just like that. And now as you can see, we can go back. When in the create post, I can go back here and yep, it is working. After we done create the UI, and I think now we need to just save this. We can say git add all. Let's say git commit -m. Let's do create the UI. Hit enter. And now it's clean. Great. Nice. So now we can say npm run dev again. Great. So now let's working with Prisma and database, which is the backend stuff. Okay. So first we need to go to the Prisma and let's just install the Prisma. Let's click this installation instructions and I'm use npm. Let's copy this. Open another terminal, and in here I'm gonna paste npm install Prisma as a dev dependency. Okay, it's done. So let's go back to Prisma documentation. Let's go back here, and the first thing what we need to do is, let's say after we install Prisma, we need to say npx prisma init. So let's do that. Npx prisma init. So it will create Prisma folder and schema Prisma file, and also it will create the env file. Nice. So first I think we are going to create the model. So let's go to schema Prisma and let's create a model with name tag. This will be the tag of the post. The value is like a JavaScript, PHP, Python, etc. So in here, the first thing is ID, and the ID here is be string, and this ID have a default value CUID, like so. And also we have name. The name it should be string, and this name here have a, let's say, character. I'm gonna do 100 variable character. So let's do 100. And also we have another model called, I'm gonna say post. It should be in the top here. Let's say post. And this model have a ID. I think we can just copy from here. Let's just copy this ID and name. Let's copy that. And this name here, it should be title. The title is have a 225 character, and the content, let's do content, it should be string. And also we have created, let's say created at, it should be have date time, and also the default value should be now, like so. And also we have the update at, it should be have date time as well. Let's say update at, like so. We have warning here because, yeah, cool. So we also have a tag ID, which is string. In here I have post. So let's do post, and let's put this post like so. And when I save, it's automatically create this tag here. Nice. So after we create the schema Prisma, we need to go back here, and what we need to do is we need to say npx prisma migrate. Let's copy this and open the terminal, and I'm gonna say npx prisma migrate. We get this warning here. That is because in environment variable we don't yet change that. So anyway, I have my, let's open the Postgres install on my local. I'm gonna stop that first. go to server setting, and as you can see, it's running our 5432, just this one. And also the user is Postgres, and the password, I'm gonna change that to 123 123 123 123. All right, let's click start, and the name here, the username, it should be Postgres, like so, and the password 123 123. Let's run that again and pick Prisma migrate. And anyway, I have some data in my DB database. I'm going to remove all of that. So I'm going to say yes. For some reason it's stuck in here, but it's done anyway. So let's Ctrl-C, and I'm going to say npx Prisma Studio to open the Prisma Studio on localhost 5555. As you can see, we have two models, post. We have ID, title, content, create ad, update ad, tag ID, tag. Okay, and also we have the tag here. Nice, we have ID, name, and post. Great, everything looks working perfectly fine. And I'm going to open another terminal here to run my app. So I can say npm run dev. So first, I'm going to create a route that handle the GET request on the tags. So in source app, I'm going to create a folder called API. And then inside the API, I'm going to create a folder called tags. And inside the tags, I create a folder called route. The name, it should be route.ts. Okay, so in here, I'm going to export the async function. Let's do async function. And the name should be get, because we are going to make a get request. If you want to make a post request, the name should be post. Patch, it should be patch. Delete, it should be delete. All right, so in here, I'm going to say try and catch. Let's say catch. I grab the error. And then in this try, what I'm going to do, let's say const tags. And in here, I'm going to wait for DB. Oh, we don't yet create a DB, right? Anyway, let's go back to the Prisma here. And I think in order to use Prisma, we need to install the Prisma client. So let's copy this npm install Prisma client, and we are going to install that. And also, let's scroll down. And after we install, we need to say Prisma migrate dev or Prisma db boost. So let's copy that and just wait for that. All right, so it's done. So now we can say npx Prisma db boost. Here we go. So now we can say npm run dev again. And yep, it should be dev like so. And now we need to create the folder called lib inside this source. So I'm going to say lib folder, and inside the lib folder, I'm going to create db.ts like so. And we are going to copy this. I'm going to copy all of that. So I'm going to copy that and paste that right here. And also, instead of using Prisma name, I'm going to use db name. So in here, I'm going to say export const db set equals to Prisma, just like that. And yep, just like that. And now we can use the db in here. Let's import the db from the lib db, and then we can say dib.tag and .find many to get all the data inside the tag. And in here, I'm going to return next response.json, and then I'm going to send the text like so. And also the status, I'm going to send 200 like that. If something wrong happened, let's just copy this return, paste that in here, and I'm going to send message. And the message, it should be cannot fetch tags like so. And the status, it should be 500, just like that. And now let's go to the browser. I'm going to open localhost 3000/API/tags and hit enter. As you can see, we have empty an array because we don't have any data in these tags here. So I'm going to add records, so make it bigger so you can see. And the first thing is I'm going to put JavaScript, hit enter, and let's do PHP, and let's do Python. All right, so when I click save, as you can see, the ID is automatically created. And here, when I refresh, as you can see, we have the response. We have ID name. We have 3 data because we set this to 3 data. Okay, great. So now let's go back to form, create post here. As you can see, in create post, we have this select here. So in this select should showing this data come from the database. So what we need to do is inside the form, let's see, form post, we need to fetch data in here. So basically you can just use simple Axios and just use Axios.get, but I like to use Tanstack query. So let's say Tanstack query. I'm going to use this because I just don't want to use a lot of state. It creates state like it's loading data, etc. It's error. I don't want to do that. I just want to make it simple as possible. So I love to use Tanstack query anyway. So let's go to installation and I use npm. So let's say npm install Tanstack React query. So let's put that here and hit enter. All right, so now let's install the Axios, npm install Axios. So basically I have another video tutorial in YouTube about Tanstack query. I'm going to put a link on the description if you want to watching that. Okay, so now what we need to do is done. We need to, let's say, npm run dev first. Here we go. And let's go to documentation and let's go to queries. And this is how we fetch the data. It's really simple. We need to just use query and we get the is loading variable, is error variable, we get the data and error. Simple as that. So in here, what we need to do, let's create a comment and I'm going to say fetch list tags. So in here, I'm going to say cons like so, and I'm going to say use query like that. And this use query here, inside of this use query, we have the, as you can see here, query key. So let's do query key. It should be array, and I'm going to put that tags in here. And also the query function, it should be async, and async function, let's do that. And in here I'm going to say cons res set equals to await axios dot get. I'm going to get, so let's import the axios. Here we go. And I'm going to get from slash API slash tags. Nice. So down here we need to return response.data, just like that. And in here we can grab the data, and I'm going to change the name to data tags like so. And also you can grab the is loading, and I'm going to change that to is loading tags, just like that. And here I can say console log data tags, and we should see the data into the console. Let's see. So let's go back to this app, and I'm going to open the console. Let's do the console and let's refresh first. I hope you can see it. Oh, we get an error because we don't wrap our application with query client provider. So let's go back here, and basically we need to, let's go to quick started here, and I hope I can find it here. Yeah, we need to wrap our app with query client provider. So let's go back to VS Code. So in VS Code, I'm going to open my, let's say, layout. You can directly put the query provider here, but the better way is to create another component, and you need to change the component to client, and you need to import that in here. So let's try. So here I'm going to create providers.tsx, and let's do rfce like so. And here we are going to use query client provider, query client provider like so. And inside this query client provider, we need to grab children come from the props. So here we can say children, and we need to return the children here, just like that. And as you can see, we have some warning because if these props here have a type any. Let's fix that. Interface providers props, you can say children, and this is going to be a React node. And now let's put the props. I can say this is going to be functional component, and then the props, it should be provider props, just like that. And as you can see, this should have client. Let's go back. We need to just copy this and paste that right here. We need to import the query client, and here we can say client set equals to query client, just simple as that. So let's use that to layout. So we are going to wrap our app here, the navbar and also the children inside the provider that we already create. Here we go. Now, as you can see, function cannot pass directly in client component unless you explicitly. All right, so let's see what we have here. So let's go back to the, oh yeah, that is because this provider, it should be client component. Let's say use client. Nice. As you can see in the console, the first time is we get that undefined, and then we have this data here come from the API. Great. So it's working. Let's close the layout and the provider. So now what we need to do is I'm going to let's map through this data here, data text, into this option. So what we need to do is in here, I'm going to say data text, let's say dot map. I'm going to grab the item, and then in here, I'm going to return option. So let's do option like so. Let's remove this hardcode option, and the value it should become from item.id. As you can see, we don't get the type here. That is because we don't yet import here. Inside this use query, we can put the tag like so, come from Prisma client like that, and it should be inside the array like so. So now, as you can see, if I say item dot, we have ID and name. Great. So here we are going to put the item dot name like so, and also we have some warning because we don't put key. So let's say key set equals to item.id. Nice. So now let's refresh and see. As you can see, we have JavaScript, PHP, etc. And anyway, the first thing is we get an undefined. We need to check that first here. We can cut this select, and here I'm going to render is loading. If is loading tag is true, I'm going to render text called loading ... and else I'm going to render this select. Just simple as that. So now when I refresh, as you can see, we have loading, and then we get the select text. Or if you want, you can go to Talin here, go to DaisyUI, and found the loading here, and you can use any loading you want. Okay, so maybe we are going to use this loading rings just to make it simple. We're going to use this loading ring, so I'm going to say JSX. Of course, let's select medium, and I'm going to change this loading to this loading. All right, so let's try. I'm gonna go back here. Let's refresh. As you can see, we have flooding and then we have the select. All right, so everything look working nicely, perfect. And what next we need to do? So next I want to, when I go back here on the home page here, I want to get the data from the database. But in the case that I'm showing you in this form is we get that as a client component. In this home here, I'm going to get the data as a server component. So we don't need to create the API because we can directly fetch the data inside this page component here. All right, so the first thing what we need to do is I'm gonna say const post set equals to, because we need to fetch data here, we need to change this function component here into async await. So here I'm going to change that to async like so we can await the get post, and then let's create the get post function. I'm going to create up here. This is going to be async function as well, get post, and let's do in here we can say const response set equals to await. I can say db dot post and then dot find many, just like that. And down here we can just say return, not respond, but return what I'm doing, return response like so. And in here I'm going to console log the post so we can see the data. So let's see. As you can see here, we have empty array because this is a server component. We cannot see it into the console. It should be inside this terminal. As you can see, we have empty array. Nice. So now let's add data manually inside a post here. So I'm going to click add record, and here for the title I'm going to say post 1. For the content, let's say this is post 1, and the tag here I'm going to use JavaScript, and let's save. All right, so are you ready for magic happen? I'm going to refresh here and you will see data on the console, on the terminal. Let's refresh. Bam. As you can see here, we get the data. How beautiful is this? Great. So now what we need to do is we need to map through here. So we can say post dot map. We don't need to handle is loading or any kind of wait until we get the data because this comes from server. So this is really fast. So it's happened when we refresh the browser anyway. So post.map, I get the individual posts, and then here I'm gonna return the postcard just like that. Yeah, we need to put the key set equals to post.id. So now when I go back here, we should have just one card title. And anyway, I'm going to put the post set equals to post. Just like that. Let's go to postcard, and we grab the post here. And of course, if we get some props in this component, we need to create the interface. So let's say interface call postcard props, and it's like a post, and this post have ID call string, have a title string, and also have a content string, just like that. But as you can see, in the terminal here, we have the create add, we have the ID. Wait, where is that? This one. If you just want to returning title content, what you need to do is, let's go back to page here. you can simply add an object inside the find menu, and you can say select. This will be select any field that you need to return. You need to ID, I'm gonna say true. You need to title, I'm gonna say true. And you need to content, let's say true as well. So when I save, let's try to refresh. My bad, we not console anything, so we cannot see. So we can say console log pose, and then as you can see, now we just have ID, title, and content. And also you can order by, I'm going to order by created at, and it's going to be descending. Nice. If you want to showing the tag, you can also add tag, and you can say true like so, and you get the tag here. So now let's go back to postcard, and here we have ID, title, content, and also tag. This tag here, it should become from the Prisma client, just like that. Nice. So now we can destructuring the title. Let's do pose here like so. We need to grab the title. Wait, the title. Oh, my bad. We don't yet put the props in here, so we can say functional component, and then we put the pose card props like so. And now we can just say what else, tag like so. And the title, we need to put that in here. Let's do title, and also the body, let's do content. And let's take a look what we have on the browser. And as you can see, we have pose 1, and this is pose 1, and this button. So anyway, I'm going to put the tag down here. I'm going to use, let's go back to DaisyUI. I'm going to use I believe it's called badge. Yeah, this one. I'm going to copy this and paste that to, anyway, let's put that here. And here I'm going to put the tag dot name. So now let's take a look what we have. As you can see, we have this JavaScript here, and let's paste that here. Let's take a look. Yeah, post 1, this is post 1, the page is JavaScript, and we have read more in here. Okay, cool. So let's try to add another post. I'm going to add manually first. Let's go back here, add record. Let's do post 2. Let's say this is post 2. And also the tag, I'm gonna set PHP and save. Let's take a look. I'm going to refresh, and bam, we have post 2, and the tag is PHP and the content as well. Really great. So let's click read more. Of course, we don't get any data in here. It's hardcoded. So let's fix that. So let's close everything here, and I'm gonna open the detail. So app block page here. And again, for the detail block, I'm gonna use server component so we can directly fetch the data in here. Okay, so the first thing is, how do we get the params? This one here. I think, oh, let's go back to components. I think I need to change the ID. Let's go to postcard, and this one. We need to change this ID to use this ID come from this props. So we need to grab and put that in here. Oh, what happened? In here, and also we need to change that in here. So I think we are going to use backtick, and also wrap this. And for the, oh wait, for this number we need to put the ID, just like so. When I go back, and when I click this read more, as you can see, oh, we need to refresh that first. Let's click read more, and as you can see, block slash the ID. Nice. How do we get the ID? So simply, let's go back to page detail. And in here, first I'm going to create the interface. Interface called block detail page props. And we grab the params. And in here we have ID because we have ID folder. That's why we can get the ID. And it's going to be string. And we can put the functional component here and put the props. Block detail page props. And we can grab the params like so. And in here we can just console log params dot ID like so. And now let's go to terminal. As you can see here, we get the ID, right? What I'm going to do here is I'm going to say cons. We grab the individual post, set equals to await. Of course, we need to change this component into async. So we can await here. So await db dot, of course, we not use db in here. We use db on the function. So in here, we can say get post like so, get post. And let's create the get post here. So I'm going to do async function get post like so. And this get post is basically take a ID. This ID should be string, and this ID should become from params.id. Nice. And in this get post function, what we need to do, let's say cons response set equals to await for a db dot, we need to import the db first. Wait, db, import that, and then we can say dot post dot find first, and then inside in here we need to set the where the id is equal to id like so. And what we need to return here is, let's select, I'm going to return ID, let's say true, wait, true. I'm going to return title, let's do true, and let's return content. I'm going to say true, and also the tag, it's also true. Nice. So down here we need to return the response, return response, just like so. And here I can console log post, so we can see the data on the console. As you can see, we have title, content, tag. Cool. So we can use the title in here. So I think we need to destructuring again. So here I'm going to do cons set equals to post like so. And in here we grab the title. As you can see, when I hover the title, we have the title does not exist on type ID, title, content. That is because sometimes the post is null. So you can just check if posts have a value, you need to return all of this. Or I think the better way is just remove this destructuring, and we are going to directly put the title in here. So we can say post.title. So let's do post.title, and let's put that inside the content here. So we can say post.content, just like that. And let's go to postcard. We are going to copy this badge here. I'm going to copy that. Let's go back to page here, and I'm going to put that in here. And this is going to be post.tag.name. And when I save, let's go back to the browser. As you can see, we have the title, the content, and this badge here. Okay, great. This is working for the detail. Let's go to post 1 and it's called post 1. This is post 1, and also the badge, it's JavaScript. Okay, it's working. So the next thing what we need to do is let's make the create post work. So let's go to create post. Let's go back to VS Code. I'm going to close all of this. Let's close that, close all, and I'm going to open the create. Let's go to source, app, and then create page.tsx. In here, we need to make a post request into database. So normally you can say axios.post in here, but again, we're using Tanstack query, so we can use use mutation in here. So const set equals to use mutation, like so. And in here we can put mutation function, and this mutation function is basically a function and that returning axios.pose. So of course we need to import the axios first, like that. And let's say axios.pose. We are going to make a post request into /API/pose/create. And then in here, I'm going to put the new post. The new post, it should become from these props here. So you can grab that new post. This new post, basically, as you can see, it should have value from form input post. As you can see, when I hover it, if this is have title, content, and also tag. And here we can grab the mutation function, not mutation, but mutate function, and then is loading state, like that. And this is what we need to run in this function. So it's better to change the name to something called create post, maybe. Let's say create, I cannot type create post. Great. So now we need to run the create post in the handle create post that we send into the form post component. All right, great. So in here we can say on error. If something error happen, we can basically handle in here. You can use those or something like that, but for now I just want to say console log, or maybe we can just say console error, and we put the error in here. The error should become from this on error function, like that. And finally here we have on success, and this on success also running function. And in here I'm gonna say router. So of course we need to create a router variable, and this is gonna be use router, come from next navigation. And down here we can say router dot push. Dot push into /. So now let's try to make a post request. Let's go back to create page, and in here I'm going to open the network, and let's see what we have. So I'm going to do post 3, and this is post 3, and the text I'm going to do Python. Let's click create. And as you can see, we have 404. That is because we don't yet have the router, right? But as you can see, the payload is right, which is we send title, content, and also the tag. All right, we don't have the route, so let's create that. Let's do inside API / I think it should be post, API / post / create. Like so. And inside the create, again, we need to create route.ts. So I think from the tags here, we can just copy this and go to the create. And what we need to change in here, this function, it should be post because we are going to make a post request. And then how do we get the request from the API, from the client here? So basically you can grab the request. The request here is basically have a type request, like so. To get the request value, we can say const body set equals to await request.json, like so. This is basically the payload that user send. Let's change this tag to post or individual post, and we need to wait for db.post. And we're not using find many in here, but we need to use create, like so. And when we create data with Prisma, we need to put data in here, data object, and let's put an object in here. We send the title. The title is basically come from the body.title, and also we send the content. It's come from the body.content. And also we need to send the tag ID. It should become from body.tag ID. Here we go. And down here, what we need to do, let's return next response JSON, and we need to send response the post that we already create, and status it should be 200. And the error, if something error happen, we need to say could not create post, just like that. And the response is 500. All right, so let's try that. I'm going to refresh, and let's do post 3. That's the content. This is post 3, and I'm gonna select Python. Let's try to create. As you can see, we have 500 error. I'm not sure what happened. Cannot create. Let's try to console log the body. So just make sure we send the payload. Let's try to send that again. And as you can see, we send the title, content, and tag. It should be tag here, I think. Let's do that again, create. And as you can see, it's work. But again, I think we need to use tag ID like so. And let's go back to the form. And I'm going to close this. Let's go to form post. Let's go to form. And the name here, it should be tag ID. Like so. And we need to also change the form input props. It should be tag ID, not just tag. Let's put tag ID, and everything look working now. Great. So yeah, there's no error. So let's try to create another post. So I'm going to create post. This is going to be post 5, and let's do this is post 5. And I'm going to select PHP. Let's create. As you can see, there's no data, but the create here is 200. That means we successfully create. We also get the response back. When I refresh, we get the post 5. And also the batch here is PHP. So let's go back, and what we need to do after we unsuccessfully create the post, we need to basically say router.refresh. So let's try that again. Let's do post 6, and the content should be, this is post 6. And let's do Python. Let's create, and as you can see, we have post 6. And also the detail should be also work. All right, nice. We successfully making this create post work. So now we are going to create the API for edit and also delete. So let's go back to the VS Code. I'm going to close this terminal, and let's just close everything. So now let's go to API folder, and inside the post here, we are going to create folder called post ID. So let's do post ID like so. And inside the post ID, the post ID it should be same level with the create folder. Let's drag to the post, and here we go. It should be same level. And inside the post ID, we are going to create file called route.ts. Nice. So in here, again, we can just copy and paste the content from the create. Let's copy that and paste that in here. And for the function, we are going to use delete, because we are going to make a delete request. In this delete function, we can also get the context params in here. So you can say, I'm going to give a name context. This context have a context props. Let's do props. This context props is basically the interface. The interface it should be have params, and inside the params we have post ID. That's because we create the folder name post ID. So here it should be string, and now the try here, inside the try, I'm going to remove the body here. We don't need that. And also this is going to be, I'm not going to return anything, so let's just remove the variable post, and here we can say db.post.delete like so. And what we need to delete is where the ID is equal to context dot I think we can just destructuring the params here. We can say const, let's set it equals to context, and in here we can grab the params. So we can say params like so, and in here we can say params dot post ID. We are going to delete the value where the ID is equal to param that we send here. Nice. So in here, because this is a delete request, so we cannot use next response.json. Instead of, we are going to use new response, and here I'm going to returning null, and also the status, I'm gonna say 204. Nice. And also when something error happen, I'm gonna say could not delete post. Great. So now let's create the patch function. The patch function, it should be handle the update. So let's copy the delete and paste that in here. The function, it should be patch like so, and it's like a request and context. We get the params here, and in here what I'm gonna do is I'm going to await db post dot, I'm gonna do update because we need to update the data. And first we are going to select the post that we need to update where the ID equals to params dot post ID, and here we are going to send the new data. So let's do data, and then the title, it should be come from the body. So let's grab that, const body set equals to, it should be await for db.json. This is the payload that we send. It's like the create in here, request.json. All right, it's not db, but request.json. And here we can send the body.title, and let's copy this couple of times. This is, should be the content, and this is, should be the tag ID, just like that. And the response, we are going to make a JSON response. So I'm going to paste in here, next response.json, and I'm going to say message here into, let's do update success, and the status, it should be 200. Also, when something wrong happen, cannot, let's do update post, cannot update post, the status is 500. So now let's go to the button action, because as you can see on the post detail, on the block detail here, we render this button action. This is basically these two buttons in here. So let's go to button action, and here I'm going to close others like so, and we are going to working with the delete first. All right, so again, because we need to change something into database, we need to use mutation, come from Tanstack query. So here we can say const, we grab the mutate, set equals to use mutation, and in here we are going to specify the mutation function. So let's do mutation function. It should be arrow function here, and we are going to change this to async function. And then in here, I'm going to return axios dot delete. We are going to delete. And then in here, I'm going to use backtick. I'm going to say /API/post, and then / whatever the ID we have in this detail. So basically, this ID should become from the props here. Let's go back to block ID, block detail, and we are going to send the ID in here, this ID here. So let's do ID set equals to ID, and let's go back to button action. We are going to create the interface. So let's do interface button action props. It is going to be have an ID, and the ID should be string. So now let's put the props here. So we can say functional component, and then button action props. So in here we can grab the ID. Here we go, and the ID is going to be in here. Let's go to create page, and basically all this here it's same. So I'm gonna copy that, go back here to the button action, and just paste it right here. So of course we need to create the router. So we can say const router set equals to use router, come from next/navigation like so, and we run that down here. Nice. So now let's change the mutate function name into, I'm going to do delete post like so, and the delete post here will run every time we click the button here. So let's handle the on click event, and in here I'm going to run delete post just like that. So let's try to go back and see. ID is not defined, so let's go back to block detail, and this ID is not defined. That's because it should be params.id. Yep. So let's refresh, and yeah, use router, it should be use client component. Let's go back to button action, and we are going to change this component to use client, and here we go. So as you can see, we own the post 6. When I delete the post 6, it should be gone. All right, so let's go to post 5. When I delete, it's gone. But we don't see any loadings happening here, right? So let's add loading. Let's go back to the button action, and we are going to grab the is loading. And in here, we are going to add the spinner loading. So in here, I'm gonna do, if is loading is true, I'm going to render span tag like so, and this span have a class name called loading, and then loading dash spinner like so. And also here I'm going to cut that out. If the is loading is true, I'm going to render something in here. Let's do that like so first. We need to wrap this inside the React fragment, just like so, and paste that in here. And of course, this is should be, I'm gonna put text call loading, something like that. And let's try to delete. I'm going to click delete. As you can see, it's so fast. I'm going to open my, let's do network, and I'm going to change my connection into fast 3G. Let's go to read more, and I'm going to click delete. As you can see, we have loading, and then boom. So next we are going to working with the edit page here. When I click the edit, should be open the edit page. Here we go. And in here, the first thing what we need to do is let's showing the data in here, the initial value. How do you do that? So normally we fetch the data from the, let's close everything. We fetch the detail block into the app, and then edit page here on here. So, but as you can see, this is client component. So normally we use query, come from Tanstack query, right? But inside the API, we don't yet have the get requests from individual posts. So I think we need to just copy, come from the tags here. I'm gonna copy it, go back to the post ID here, and paste that in here. Of course, we need to delete this import here, and this get should be have the request and context. Let's copy that and put it in here. And also we are gonna use db dot, it should be post for individual post. It should be wait for db dot post. It's not find many. We're not going to return all the posts, but we are going to return for the specific post. So we can say find first, and then here we are going to specify the ID, where the ID is equal to, of course, we need to use the ID come from the params. So let's copy, paste that here. ID is equals to params dot post ID, like so. And also I'm going to include, let's include the tag. The tag, it should be true, just like that. And in here we need to return the next response JSON, and then we need to send the individual posts, just like that. So now when I make a post request, for example, so let's go to this here, and I'm going to change to localhost 3000 / API / post / ID. And as you can see, we have the specific ID here, and we get all the data. We also have the tag here. But as you can see, when I click the edit, it should be open edit /1. So let's go back to the button action, and in here, where's the button? This one, we need to change this, and we are going to use backtick. It's going to be edit /ID. All right, so now let's save, and I'm going to refresh. Let's click edit. As you can see, it's open the, let's click edit. As you can see, it's open the block /edit. Oh, it should be have / in here in the front of the edit. So now when we click edit, as you can see, we on the localhost 3000 /edit /post ID. Nice. So now first, let's make a get request in this edit page, and we are going to do that on this page component here. So now we are going to use the use query, come from Tanstack query in here. So we can say cons, we grab the data, set equals to use query, come from Tanstack React query, and then in here we are going to specify the query key. It should be array, and I'm going to say post, and then whatever the ID. And also, oh wait, the ID here, it should be come from the param, so we can create the interface first. Interface edit post page props. It should be have params. Wait, should be have params, and inside the params we have ID, and the ID should be string. And now we can put the interface in here. I can do functional component, and then here I'm gonna put the edit page props like so, and we get the params in here, and let's destructuring the ID so we can grab that. So we can say cons, and then ID set equals to params, just like so. And now the ID should be in here. The next thing what we need to paste inside the use query is the query function. So let's do query function. Should be the async function. So let's do async. I'm going to use arrow function. And in here, I'm going to say cons response set equals to await. I'm going to use axios dot get, and let's put the route here. So I'm going to say /API /post whatever the ID. Let's put the ID here, just like that. And here it should be cons, and in here we need to return response.data, just like that. So now let's try to just change the data name to data post, and I just want to console log that, just make sure the data is available. So data post like so. Let's go to the, oh my bad, let's go to inspect and then console. So let's see what we have. Let's refresh. As you can see, the first thing is undefined, and then we get the data. So now let's also get the is loading. I'm going to change the name to is loading post like so. And in here, I'm going to check first, because this is client component, so it's take a time to get the data. So we need to check if the is loading post is true. I'm going to return, let's do div here. This div have a class name called, let's say, text center. And inside this text center, we have span that have the class name called loading and loading. I'm going to use this loading spinner and loading large. So now let's send the data post into the form post here. So I'm going to send that. I'm going to give a name initial value set equals to data post. We don't have the initial value on the form post. So let's go to form post, And here we are going to get the initial value. This is going to be form input pose, and the initial value, it should be optional because we're using this form pose also on the create. We don't need to send the initial value when we create pose, right? So here I'm going to get the initial value like so, and we are going to use this initial value into the form here. So I'm going to put object inside the use form, and I'm going to say default value into initial value, just like that. And let's see what we have on the form. So let's refresh, and let's see, we don't get anything basically. And let's go back and let's see what we're doing wrong. Let's go to page here and let's hover this. Yep, should be initial, not initial. Initial value, like so. Let's go back to the browser, refresh. Hopefully, as you can see, we have the post one, content, text as well. Great. Let's go back here. I'm going to create another post. Let's do post 2. This is the post awesome 2, like so. And the tag PHP, let's create. And as you can see, we have this post 2. And when I click read more, we on the detail. When I click edit, as you can see, we also have the value. Nice. So now let's use mutation to update the data. I'm going to back to my create and then page here. I'm going to copy all these use mutation come from the create. And then I'm going to go through my edit here. And let's paste that right here. Like so. And let's import the use mutation. This should be, let's just say new post is okay. And also this is going to be axios.patch. And the URL, it should be dynamic. So let's change that to /API/post/ID, like so. And also I'm going to change this name to update post. The router, let's do up here. I'm going to say cons router set equals to use router, come from next navigation. Also the is loading here, I'm going to change the name to is loading submit. So now let's run the update post into this function here, handle edit post. So let's put that in here, just like that. So as you can see here, the first thing is we create the use mutation. This use mutation here, we have this update post, and we run the update post inside the handle edit post. We send the handle edit post into this submit props inside the form post, and here we get the submit, and then we run the submit whatever we've clicked on submit in this form. All right, so now let's try to edit. I'm going to open the network. And in here, I'm going to change the title to updated, post to updated. So let's click update. And let's see, as you can see, we have post to updated. Great, it's working. And the next thing I'm going to add is the is loading. When we create post or edit post, I need to have loading when we create post or edit post. So now we need to send the is loading. Where's the is loading? Let's go to page here. We have the is loading submit. I'm going to put that into this form post. So let's say is loading submit, set it equals to is loading submit. And we are going to get the is loading submit into the form post. So let's do is loading submit. And the value here, it should be Boolean. And let's grab that in here, is loading submit. And also I'm going to scroll down, and in here we are going to handle the is loading. So inside this button here, I'm going to add condition. If the is loading submit is true, I'm going to render span. This span, it should be have class name called loading. and loading, I'm gonna do spinner. And also here I'm going to change when it's loading, let's say it's loading submit to true, I'm going to showing updating here. Let's do updating like so, and else just showing update string like so. And also I'm going to change this create when the is loading submit true. I'm going to change this to creating like so, else I just want to say create, just like that. So now let's try to edit, but as you can see on the page here we have some, what is this? Oh yeah, on the create we don't yet send the is loading, that's why we get this warning. So let's say is loading, I'm going to change the name to is loading submit like so, and let's send the is loading submit in this form post just like so. As you can see, nice. And now let's try to make a post request, and as you can see the network now is still fast 3G. It's a little bit slow, of course, that's why we get this loading here. Just wait for that so we can see the loading in this create. So now let's create the new post and the content. This is new post. I'm going to select JavaScript. Let's click create. As you can see we have the loading, and then it should be redirect me to the home page. As you can see we have this new post. Great. And now let's try to edit. I'm going to click edit. I'm going to change the title to new post update, and let's click update, and as you can see we have this loading, and then it should be redirect me to the home, and we have new post update. Nice. So now let's try to delete, and when I click delete we have the loading, and then it's also work. Nice. So the last thing I'm going to showing you is when I try to create posts with long content. So let's try to say post 3, and the post content I just want to copy and paste come from the lorem ipsum. So let's copy all this content here. I'm gonna copy that, go back to the add new post, and this is going to be PHP. Let's click create. As you can see it's look like this. It's look not nice, so let's go back to postcard, and what we are gonna do inside the, all right, so in here I'm gonna do is, let's say content dot slice, and I'm gonna do 0 and then 30. So let's save, let's take a look. As you can see now it should be like this, and when I click read more it should be showing all the data. Great. So when I click delete, it's also delete the post. All right, so finally we successfully create all the CRUD operation. We already make this create post work, we already make the delete work, and also the edit work. So hopefully you learn something new from this video, and see you in the next video.